Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JD Moonin with jdmoonin.com. I'm coming at you guys with another build. This build I like to call the Plague. It's very, very influenced by Patrick Scott's old Pestilence build and all that. I ran that for many patches. So this patch I wanted to go through and make another group play build that's going to be just as effective as the Pestilence build, since we can no longer achieve what he was achieving that patch because of resource changes and different changes in the game. I went ahead and I made a Magicka Plague build that's going to give you the ability to debuff all of your opponents and make their healing go away. So what I've been able to achieve with this build, it's going to be a 67% healing debuff build. It's going to have great sustain. It's going to have great group play utility. It's going to give you the ability to lock people down. You do significant amount of damage, and it's also going to give you the ability to 1v1 people as well. I will show footage at the end of this video showing you guys what I was able to do with this build on, how I'm able to help my team just do great damage, have great utility, and also fight in a 1v1 scenario. So let's kind of dive into what gear I'm running, what changes I made to CP, how I'm achieving 67% debuff, and different things like that. And we're also going to kind of go into how you're going to play the build and where the build's going to work best. Okay, so let's dive into gear first. So looking at our gear, we are sitting at 2 pieces of Bloodspawn. Now these are both going to be in pin. They're both gold with 1 max Magicka glyph, and I have 1 Hakeju glyph on the head. Now that's just going to help me to min-max what I like to min-max when it comes to stam, health, and all that good stuff. On the body, we're going to have 3 pieces of Fasala's Guile. I kept these purple. I went ahead and I looked at what would happen if I changed them gold. It's not good enough to change gold. The armor increase is not enough, and it's not increasing enough health. Your healing taken's not increased, and also your defile's not increased. So there's no point in making these pieces gold. The only thing you need to make gold on this build when it comes to Fasala's is the weapons, and that's it. Now, for the other pieces, like I said, we're running 3 pieces of in-pin Fasala's. Okay, so that's going to give us a 5 total in-pin on the body. Since we're wearing heavy, 2 sturdy was just fine for me. I thought that was really good with this build, especially because it's going to be a group play build mainly. And so we're going to be focusing on getting healed by our healers. So we're not going to be needing to block as much. We're going to be standing there just applying pressure. So as we dive into what I'm wearing on the gloves and the belt, I wear 2 pieces of Desert Rose. Both of these are going to be sturdy. These pieces need to be gold, guys, because having our sturdy pieces gold is a huge factor that's going to give us an increase by 1% on our block cost reduction. Okay. On our jewelry, we're running 3 pieces of Desert Rose on our jewelry. Okay. Now, our piece on our necklace, I like to run a shielding glyph on my necklace. It's going to give me reduced block cost and also bash. And then I'm running 2 cost reduction on the rings. Now, both of these 2 Desert Rose pieces are both going to be sturdy, and they're going to have max Magicka glyphs. Now, I have all my glyphs are gold, especially since we're not golding these 2 pieces out. That's very important. You don't need to put gold glyphs on the Desert Rose piece. So all you need to do is gold these out, and they will also get gold enchantments on them as well. So let's go ahead and jump down to what we are running for Sword and Board. We are running 2 pieces of Fasala's Sword and Board. That's going to give us our minor defile on both bars. It's also going to give us 2% increased healing, like I said, with the 4% healing taken, and also it's going to give us that 22% defile. Now keep in mind, I know a lot of people are like, oh, this set got nerfed. Okay, but you're not. What people don't understand is that you no longer need to take damage to apply this buff. Okay, as long as they're within a vicinity of you, a certain area, which I believe is 8 meters, they are getting this debuff. Now this debuff can be purged, but as soon as they purge it, if they're still standing in the vicinity of you, it immediately gets applied again. Okay, so this is huge when we're keeping people in a tower, when we're in small scale play, in IC, or if we're in BGs. Okay, these things are massive when we're using this set. Okay, we want to keep people in close range. We want to make sure we keep them in a close vicinity so we can drop people. So this build is going to be focused on having a 4-man group and wiping big groups in a small vicinity. Okay, that's the whole point of this build. So what we're doing is we're causing a plague for everybody that's around us. And so as you'll notice in the gameplay, what's going to happen is when they're healing, their heals aren't going to be taking them up. They're going to be staying the same and gradually dropping lower and lower. And so what it's going to do is put us into a sustained game with our group, and it's going to allow our group to out-sustain their group because they can't heal. It's really, really great when you're fighting these massive Zergs. And like I said, I'll show you in the gameplay. So now both of these are going to have max Magicka glyphs on them, okay? And then for our sustain, like I said, it's going to be Desert Rose. It's going to give us a little bit more tankiness, more health, more max Magicka, and it's going to give us that massive burst, income of Magicka every 4 seconds. So that's also going to be stacking with our Constitution passive from Heavy, so keep that in mind. So that's going to increase the amount of sustain that we're gaining. So I want to go ahead and dive into what our stats are going to look like real quick. So as we're looking at stats, on our front bar, we're sitting at 36,000 max Magicka. That's because of the skills we have on the front bar. I'll explain to you, I want to do more damage instead of just being extreme group utility, which I know a lot of guys that run these kind of builds, they like to be extreme group utility. I play with people that they don't need extreme group utility. They need somebody who's dealing damage, but also is giving us that debuff utility for the group, which is going to be huge. So our max health on the front bar is going to be 26.6. Max stamina is going to be 15,000, okay? Our spell damage, 1335. It's still enough for us to put out a significant amount of damage, especially when we're just applying dots. That's what we're focusing on. We're focusing on applying dots, keeping a little bit of pressure going while keeping them unable to heal. Now, our spell resistance unbuff is going to be 25,000, and our physical resistance unbuff is going to be 18.5. Our Magicka recovery is 1854, but keep in mind, with Desert Rose and with Constitution passive, this is going to be somewhere around the 2,000 range. It's huge. It's a lot of sustain. Don't overlook that amount of sustain that we're getting because, like I said, we're going to be wanting to fight big groups, not chasing people down, keeping them debuffed and keeping them on the backside of towers, also keeping them in small areas and houses and IC and in close vicinity in BGs. That's the whole goal of this build. We want to just lock people down in these areas to where they can't move out, they can't get away, and they're just constantly getting debuffed, they can't heal. These things are extremely important when we're looking at this build. So for the stone that I'm using the Attribution. I didn't want to focus on too much crit damage with this build because, like I said, we're mainly utility. We want to apply pressure and we want to keep people from healing, so we want as much sustain as we can possibly get. We need to keep our stamina going, especially since we took off a couple pieces of sturdy. So having that sustain pool from Igneous Shield is really, really big with this build. We're going to be stage 4 Vampire, and we're also going to be sitting with the Tri-Stat food. This is going to be the best food that we can run. So those things are going to be all in play. Now, we're going to have a little bit more crit on our front bar than we will our back bar, and that's just to kind of continue to apply that pressure. We want to apply some crit damage. We don't want to have an extreme loss of crit damage, but we want to have some application of crit damage somewhere. Now, our spell critical is going to be sitting at 2547. This is going to make us really, really tanky on top of when we're buffed up. Our physical and spell resistance is going to be pretty huge. So let's go ahead and dive on our back bar and look at that spell resistance and that critical or that physical resistance. It's going to be at 27.7 spell and 21.1 unbuffed on the back bar. Now, buffed up on our back bar, we're looking at 33 and 26.4 on the resistances, okay? So our back bar spell crit is going to be 22. That's fine. Like I said, we're not focused so much on healing. We're going to be in a group, so naturally we're going to have a healer with us. And so you guys are going to see how this group utility is going to work with the other group builds that we have in play as well in the videos that I show you after this build, or after the build video. So now let's dive into skills and what I'm running on the front bar. Front bar running Whip. We're also running Burning Embers with Talons, with Burning Talons. Now, the next patch, this is probably going to change to Choking Talons so we can have even more group utility. And so that the reason for that being is that next patch, we're going to have magic damage on our Choking Talons, which is going to be really huge for Magicka DK. We are running Fossilize. It's extreme group utility. You want to run this. It's going to pin that Nightblade down and also keep that healer from healing when we use this ability. Run Inner Light on the front bar. That's going to give us that extra damage. If you want to exchange this for Entropy and run Wings on your back bar, completely understand. That is also great for when we're trying to tank. So Wings is not something to overlook also. I do run Ferocious Leap. It's kind of my oh shit leap, or if I need to kill somebody really quick. but I'm mainly using it to give me that big shield that it gives me when I use the ultimate. On our back bar, we're running Coagulating Blood. That's for our heal. We're also running Igneous Shield and Volatile Armor. Now, instead of running Coagulating Blood, if you want to run Inhale, I completely understand, because like I said, this is a group utility build, so if you want to replace this with Inhale, it's definitely a good thing to use. Elusive Mist, we're not taking this off our bar. It's too strong and too powerful to take off. I run Entropy on the back bar. It's going to give us a bigger heal. Like I said, if you want to put that on the front bar and run Wings, completely understand. Now, how we're achieving our 67% debuff, okay, is like I said, this is going to be a lockdown in a small area where we're going to be locking people down. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop standard. It's going to give people that 45% healing debuff. Also, that's going to be matched in with our Fasala's Guile, which is going to be a full-on 67% healing debuff, as long as they're standing in your vicinity, okay? So this is huge. You want to keep people in the vicinity. You want to keep them locked down, and you want to keep them in that healing debuff. Next patch is going to be a lot stronger because we're going to be using Choking Talons, dealing more damage, and also giving them that major maim, or was anyways, it's gonna make them do 15% less damage. I forget the exact name of the debuff. But so that's what we're running for skills and abilities. Now let's look at the CP tree so you guys can see what I changed and where we're sitting in the CP tree. Now, relatively, I like to sit close to the same. If in heavy armor, I like to run around 48. In spell pin, spell erosion is going to give us that maximum amount of spell pin. So it's going to make us more effective with heavy armor on. Elemental is going to sit at 10%, and Elfborn is going to sit at 20%. Blessed is 7. If you want to take more out of Elfborn and put it into Blessed, since you're going to be more of a utility build, completely understand, but I like my crits to hit hard when they do crit. Master at Arms, it's going to give us that increased damage, 20% on our Talons, our Whip, and our initial hit on our Burning Embers, all that good stuff. Fossilized is going to be increased by that. Nothing in a Thaumaturge. Don't really care this patch. Okay, so for our tanky page, we're going to be running 56 into Ironclad, 53 into Resistant, with 19% or 19 into Hardy, 19 into Elemental Defender, and 20 into Thick Skinned. If I'm going too fast, guys, please feel free to pause and look at my CP so you can see what I'm doing. 43 into Quick Recovery. That's going to give us a full 20% increased healing received over everything we're doing. That we're going to have 2% in Blessed, which is going to give us, in addition with the 8% from Heavy Armor, which is going to give us the full 20%. Moving on, we're going to be running 56 into Warlord. I just found out this is bugged right now, so if you want to take those points out and put them elsewhere, completely understand. And we're not running anything in this tree. We don't need it. Okay, on Magicka, I've learned that we don't need anything in this tree, so just move right past it. Over here, we're running 71 points into Befoul. That's going to give us a full 50% increase on our debuff, along with 27 points into Tumbling. The only reason why I'm running 27 points into Tumbling is, again, this is also bugged as well. I checked it, and it's only giving us a 2% decrease on our dodge roll, and the same thing is going to be for Break Free. So you can take the points out of Tumbling and also Warlord as well. Now, Shadow Ward is working as intended, so I'm running 56 points into Shadow Ward to give us that increased block cost reduction. So that is what we're running for the build. That's the CP. That's where we're sitting. So now when we're playing this build, what we want to do is we want to keep people in a relative vicinity. So what you want to do is you want to get people into towers, and you want to lock them down in these vicinities within 8 meters of you, where you can just lock them down, keep them debuffed, okay, and you're going to continue to hit this. You're just going to keep them locked down. You're going to drop this standard. Whoever's in your group is going to synergize it, shackle them in there, and they're just going to melt, as you're going to see in the footage following the video. So, guys, don't forget, if you like the footage, if you like my build videos, all that good stuff, please don't forget to hit the subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check me out at jdmoonin.com. All my build videos are on there. Also, don't forget to come by Twitch and come check us out. We're there every Monday through Friday, 9 to 1, and I play most weekends as well. So, guys, I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching, and here comes the footage, and I will see you guys out there on the battlefield. Once again, thanks again for watching.